Don't waste the floodplain.
Well, this is going to get interesting. I mean, Bob has at least one counterspell.
Yep. You should waste Tundra.
If you waste the Tundra, you can't counterspell.
Right.
But he's got to draw.
Taps it for mana. Oh, he's got Impulse in hand.
Right. So he should
be
able to get the counterspells off.
Well, he's going to Impulse and then have Force of Will up.
Declare my attack phase?
Yeah, declare an attack phase. There you go. First attack phase of the match for him. I hate creatures.
Just remember, this is actually far from over. Remember the comeback that Bob made game 1.
It's very true. Bob did have land in game 1, to be fair.
Impulse.
It's all he had, but...
Okay, should be able to find at least
a land?
At least a land here. And he does.
Yep. Yeah, he takes Tropical Island.
Okay.
Drain you for 3, that's fine.
Cards are 5.
Bob has Force of Will.
Force of Will.
And he's going to use it. Bob figures that the only way he can win this game is if Davis doesn't have many more drains. He has to hope that Davis will accidentally Necrolock himself. Of course, we know that Davis has plenty.
He's also. I mean, it's also more reasonable because Maher does have counterspells that he's going to be able to cast next turn.
True. Well, except of course he's going to get Ritual Persecuted.
Well, that's
Yeah, that's I know. That's going to get counterspell. Forbid. Can he counter all those drains?
No, not. He's got to counter the Persecute first.
True.
But it's. I mean, it's slow
Davis
here. He will be able to counter some stuff. If he draws into a land, I don't think Bob is out of this match at all.
All right. Now, if Davis had duressed that Force of Will way back 4 turns ago, he'd have more life right now.
Right.
Because he would have had a drain resolve, and so he'd have more cards.
Right. And so theoretically, he'd be able to draw into more land.
This should just be Persecute.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Persecute. Knock a counterspell out of your hand. Draw a card.
Bob really needs to draw a land to get Forbid up. That is extremely key.
Yep.
All right.
Bob
all
has
you Bob
Forbid.
Maher fans, be rooting for Bob to top deck a land.
Yeah, he needs this to be a land.
Because really what Davis is mostly drawing is mostly irrelevant because it's just going to be drain for a little while.
Right. Davis would have liked to gotten a land right there.
Right. That would have been helpful because then
draw?
he could corrupt.
Brainstorm. That's not good enough. He has to find Force of Will.
A Forbid. Yeah, he needs to Brainstorm, hoping he can find a counterspell in the land.
He's going to Brainstorm main phase. Try to get a land into play. That's Force of Will.
Ooh.
Force of Will, Brainstorm, Disrupt.
That's a good
Disrupt
draw.
Could be relevant.
The only problem is he doesn't have another land, so he's going to have to sift through some draws.
Oh, you're right.
Now the thing
Disrupt
is, will
help.
Davis is a little pinched on life, so he probably actually will drain life
Risk
for the maximum. So the Disrupt may end up going off.
Does
Let's
he
see.
risk Disrupt?
Yeah,
yes.
He does.
Boom! Wow. There's the Disrupt card. Still, this is not a land. We know this from before.
Right.
It does have another Brainstorm in his hand, though. Does this Brainstorm? If this is a land and a counterspell, it's an Enlightened Tutor, a Force of Will, and a Brainstorm.
That is an amazing Brainstorm.
How many blue cards does he have for those Force of Wills?
Amazing Brainstorm.
He has 2 Force of Wills and 2 blue cards.
That is
all Davis has is a Consult, right?
Absolutely amazing.
And a Corrupt. Is this over?
It's getting real close to being over.
He's got 2 Force of Wills against a Corrupt and a Drain.
Maher coming back.
Is Bob going to pull this off?
Yeah, I think so. It looks favorable, actually.
Davis looks Necrolocked. Bob figured his only plan was to try to Necrolock Davis. Bob said, sorry, Brian, I got to try to Necrolock you. I got to hope I draw a counterspell for every drain you've got. And he might pull it off. I think he has. All right, how many blue cards was he able to keep in his hand after resolving the Brainstorm?
Oh, geez. Is he going to cast that drain? He is, and that's going to leave him with only the Corrupt.
Force of Will removing Forbid.
What?
That leaves him with only Corrupt.
What?
So he's going to have to use the Consult on a Swamp. But he's like 2 turns
ritual
away
to
from
drain?
it. Yeah, this is just horrendous. Like, I think this game's over.
What does he tutor for?
The Mask, I think.
He's only got 2 land. So if he ritual
Or he
corrupts,
can't cast the Mask. Excuse me. He doesn't
He
have
only
that many
has 2
lands. But yeah, the
If he-
Sylvan,
if he goes
Sylvan's
ritual-
good.
if
Yeah,
he goes
Sylvan's really
ritual-
good.
if he goes ritual corrupt, then he still has to drain life and a consult in his hand.
Right. Yeah. Essentially, he just wasted a turn because now he has to
Consult for swamp.
for a swamp.
No, it's more than a turn. He wasted a potential drain life.
Yeah.
Before, he would lose to 3 counters. Now he
Right.
loses to 2, and Bob had 2.
Right.
Sylvan. Okay. Go ahead.
He has to consult for swamp, corrupt, and Bob has Force of Will in his
Right.
hand.
That's right. And that,
And a
that
blue card, it's
Consult
over.
could have been another one. Yeah. You're
It's
right.
over. If he'd gone ritual corrupt, he would still have a chance.
Yeah. This game is.
I mean, I don't know if he would win, but he had a chance.
And Bob's gonna have a land on the top 3 because he's the great one.
He said, "Go."
What am I at? 18?
There's the land.
Bob asks, "What am I at? 18? How many cards does he Sylvan for?"
All right, Bob Maher.
You know,
fans.
there is one way that Brian can get back in this. He can spin Treetop Village and gain 3 life.
Go ahead.
He's still got a shot. He can spin Treetop Village and gain 3 life. Bob has to attack him eventually, right? Otherwise, Brian decks him. Abundance.
At 6.
Swamp. He consulted for Swamp. Just the right call.
Now.
Now he's going to untap and corrupt, and Bob's going to Force a Will it. Then he's probably going to concede. But
Oh, jeez.
Brian will probably concede rather than wait to spin Treetop Village.
Yeah. Force of Will.
That's it. Bob Maher wins the Pro Tour.